Hi, Mrs. Nazarian here for our 14th reading lesson. We started with our last lesson studying series books and strategies for reading series books, how to keep track of the characters and the stories as you read a variety of books about them. We talked about last week collecting information about the main characters, and we were reading Days with Frog and Toad. And before we even opened the book, we got a lot of information about Frog and Toad from the cover and also from the blurb. Today, our focus is going to be on paying attention to how characters respond to problems. Okay, so before we read, I want you to use your imagination, okay? I want you to pretend that you're at the beach, okay? And you go to the ice cream shop. Maybe you go down to Bud's ice cream shop and you order a triple scoop ice cream cone, and you are so excited. You walk away from the ice cream shop and you're holding your cone very carefully, and it's very tall with 3 amazing, delicious scoops that you can't wait to get your tongue on. And as you go to take your first lick, the ice cream drops right in the sand. What would you do? Okay, think about it. All right. Here's another scenario. Okay, get your imagination going. Imagine you're at the playground with your best friend and he's getting picked on by a big kid. Your friend starts to cry and tells you he wants to go home. What would you do? Okay, one last one, all right? Imagine you were at the mall with your mom and there's so many people there. It's really crowded. There's people everywhere. Suddenly, you can't find your mom. You're lost. What would you do? There are many different ways a person can respond to a problem. So, like when your ice cream falls in the sand, you could throw a temper tantrum, or you could think, I wonder if there's any way I could get another one. Maybe if I tell the ice cream man what happened, I can convince him to give me another one. Or maybe you convince your brother to share his ice cream cone with you. There's all different ways to handle that problem. So today I want to teach you that the way a person responds to trouble or to a problem says a lot about who that person is. This is true in real life and in stories too. The way a person responds to trouble gives clues as to what kind of person they are. That's why it's important for us to pay attention to how the characters in our books respond to problems. So we're going to read the second chapter, The Kite, in Days with Frog and Toad. And I have, my sticky. It says problem on it. And when we come across a problem, I'm going to stick this sticky on, and we're really going to think about how each of these characters, Frog and Toad, respond to the problem. The Kite. Frog and Toad went out to fly a kite. They went to a large meadow where the wind was strong. "Our kite will fly up and up," said Frog. "It will fly all the way up to the top of the sky." "Toad," said Frog, "I will hold the ball of string. You hold the kite and run." Toad ran across the meadow. He ran as fast as his short legs could carry him. The kite went up in the air. It fell to the ground with a bump. Toad heard laughter. 3 robins were sitting in a bush. "That kite will not fly," said the robins. "You may as well give up." Toad ran back to Frog. "Frog," said Toad, "this kite will not fly. I give up." There's the problem. The kite didn't fly on their first try. Toad wants to give up. Let's see what happens. "We must make a second try," said Frog. "Wave the kite over your head. Perhaps that will make it fly." Toad ran back across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. The kite went up in the air and then fell down with a thud. "What a joke," said the robins. "That kite will never get off the ground." Toad ran back to Frog. "This kite is a joke," he said. "It will never get off the ground." "We have to make a third try," said Frog. "Wave the kite over your head and jump up and down. Perhaps that will make it fly." Toad ran across the meadow again. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down. The kite went up in the air and crashed down into the grass. "That kite is junk," said the robins. "Throw it away and go home." Toad ran back to Frog. "This kite is junk," he said. "I think we should throw it away and go home." "Toad," said Frog, "we need one more try. Wave the kite over your head, jump up and down, and shout, 'Up, kite, up!'" Toad ran across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down. He shouted, "Up, kite, up!" The kite flew into the air. It climbed higher and higher. "We did it!" cried Toad. "Yes!" said Frog. If a running try did not work, and a running and waving try did not work, and a running, waving, and jumping try did not work, I knew that a running, waving, jumping, and shouting try just had to work. The robins flew out of the bush, but they could not fly as high as the kite. Frog and Toad sat and watched their kite. It seemed to be flying way up at the top of the sky. Okay, so I'm going to go back to where the problem was. Let's think about this problem. They couldn't get the kite to fly. So I wrote on my chart here, Toad and Frog. And I'm going to put stickies here about how each one of them responded to the problem of not getting the kite to fly at first. So when I think about Toad, I think about, he was easily influenced by those birds. Those birds were really negative. Remember the robins that were sitting in the bush? They'd say, "That kite is junk, throw it away." And then Toad would run back to Frog and be like, "That kite is junk, throw it away." So I think he was easily influenced. And he was also willing to give up easily. So I'm going to put that under Toad. Also, I think he was kind of negative. Like, he really didn't believe it was going to happen. He was listening to the birds' negativity, and he was kind of negative too. Now, on the other hand, Frog responded to the problem totally different. He kept trying again and again, and he didn't give up. And I also thought he was smart, coming up with different things to try, different ideas. He was being really creative. So I'm going to put smart here too. So when you're reading your own series books, I want you to stop when you come across a problem. Maybe you need to make a little sticky note like that, or a little piece of paper, and pay attention while you're reading as to how the characters respond to the problem in the books that you are reading. Okay, until next time.